Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So if you saw one of my recent videos, I did get the Derwent Inktense blocks as a gift. Now I've kept them in these little Derwent tins for now, but I thought I want to put them into a palette just to make it a little bit easier on myself for using them. So I purchased 2 of these palettes and I'm going to break a little bit off of the palettes, activate them with water and then let them re-dry so they'll stick to the palette. That's my idea. I don't think there's enough wells for all of the colours, so I might have to use like corners and stuff, but we'll make it work. But I thought it might be a neat idea because I was reading about Inktense blocks and you can actually use them on fabric as well. You can use them on fabric, and then that got me thinking, well, if I can use them on fabric, maybe I could use them as like a distress ink, but like a spray sort of thing. So my mum was just playing, so I did go to my local town looking for little spray bottles, couldn't find them, so I ended up buying them off Amazon. The little perfume bottles, little tiny ones, and there's 30 in here. Unfortunately I haven't got enough for all of the colours, but I thought 30 was enough. I can just pick and choose the colours. And then my idea is, I've got my little craft knife here. I'm going to sprinkle some on, not necessarily on my chopping board. I'll probably use a scrap piece of paper because then it'll be easier to transfer it into these tiny little bottles. Add a little bit of water and then see if I can spray it. But what I might have to do is, over time, I think that they'll dry in these bottles. So then when I want to use them as spray, I'll just have to re-wet them with a bit of water. But I do want to try using the Inktense blocks as well on fabrics. I'm going to see if I've got an old white t-shirt, or even if Isabel's got an old white t-shirt, and try and do some design. Would you be interested in seeing that? It might be a complete disaster, and there's a good chance I might have to film outside depending the neighbours. Because I just imagine that it'll be really, really messy. I mean, I might be able to get away with doing it in here, maybe. So my idea, like I said, the blocks are going to be kept in these, but I'm going to take chunks away from the colours and pop them in these palettes. So I want to do that together on camera. I thought it'd be interesting. So you've not seen the chopping board in, gosh, over a year I think now. My Tonic Studio one, the Tim Holtz one, I used to use this all the time. So I will move all this and get all set up. As soon as I opened this, it was like vacuum packed. You know, they've all fell to the bottom, so that might be a little bit easier. I don't know the best way of doing this, because if I cut it on the cutting board, then all that powder is going to stick to the table, and I don't want to waste that powder because I want the powder to go in there. But let's see how messy that this gets first. So we'll start off. Let me bring you in a little bit closer just so you can properly see. I've just recently got a new craft blade, actually, again off Amazon. I think this one cost me £5 and it's got replacement blades as well. So we'll start off with this one that's already broken. And unfortunately I didn't write the names down, but I can get a good idea. I can get a good idea of what colours that I want. So I need it to be about that wide. Me and my measuring, so I need to go around the edges carefully. Let's see now if I can snap that off. There you go, so that snaps off quite nicely, that actually. And if I put that colour in there, it is incredibly messy. So I want to get one of these out just to test. So these are the tiny little spray bottles, tiny little things. So with the remaining of this one, if I scrape a little bit onto the paper, that should be enough. Put the rest back in there. I want to pick up all these bits, and I'm going to attempt to get this in this tiny bottle. So let's move the paper and let's see if it'll do as it's told. Let's do that. Go on, there we go. I'm not sure how much to put in, but you can see there, and I've got my little pipette. I'll fill that up with water. and let's 3/4 fill it with water. Let's put the lid on and then I'll give it a shake and then I'll test it out. I'll have to get another scrap piece of paper to test it out, so make sure that it's fully screwed on. That's the lid. That doesn't feel secure. Right, so you need to push it, it doesn't screw. Right, so lid back on. Let's give this a shake. Try and get all of it dissolved. I've got another scrap piece of paper here. So, looking good, we're looking good. I was just curious to see if this would actually work, because I think this would be good for colouring pages. Let's spray and see. Whoa! Wow! Yeah, that works. That works. That's gone all over my phone as well, so I need to be careful of that next spray. I can't believe that works. So it is a little bit messy, but water isn't messy. Water isn't messy, but it works. It works. So I'll pick and choose what colours that I want to do this with, and then we'll have a nice selection. I don't know if I have got a colouring page that I could suppose that I could test it on at the end of this video that I've technically finished one last night. I could do a little bit of this. I'll just hope that I won't destroy it. But I've got a funny feeling that there's not enough water in there, because that is really, really pigmented. Really pigmented. But I'll let that dry and see how we get on. So there's our first one. That is crazy. That is really crazy. I will wet the palette and get all these activated and stuff at the end. I think that'll be best. And then leave them out. With it being really warm outside, I should be alright leaving them outside. So I won't do every single one on camera. I just want to do a few just to give you a good idea of what it's going to be like. So we'll try a yellow next. Was that big enough, that piece, that then? There. So you're working on the corners. You're working on, that's me, a local accent coming out that. I try my best to keep it in. Working. Going around all 4 corners and then just break that edge. And then I'll do the same thing with this yellow. I want to put this one in a spray bottle. Working on all the corners. This one is a little bit messier. I wonder why. So let's get another little bottle and a cap. They're dead cute, these. They're cute. I'm going to have to find a way of organising these a little bit better, because they'll just end up being popped in my drawer rolling round, so I do need to think of something. I do not like to stay organised as best as I can. So let's pop this in. So there's not as much there, so let's do a little bit more. Do I like thicker pieces with this one. Do it on this side this time. Turn it round. Pop that in. Our water. Quarter again. And it's a push on. There we go. Let's give this a little test. I'll use that same scrap piece of paper. So it does take a few to get the spring going, but once it's going, you see, I think that's going to be so cool on certain colouring pages, and with it being the Inktense, it's not going to move once it's dry. That's my idea anyway. So what colour should we do now? Let's do this red here. Oh, I feel a sneeze coming. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. All 4 corners. Oh, and that one came out easier. So I'll leave that there for now. That one can go in there. And I'll spray another bottle up. Oh. I haven't got hay fever, but I've got a funny feeling. I was sneezing a lot last night as well. I'm suffering something. That should be enough. Get that in the bottle. And then our water. Lid. I'll do this very last one and then I'll come back once I've finished them all, I think, because it's going to take me a little while. It's nearly 10 minutes just to do 3. I'll be here all day. So we'll give this one a little bit of a test. See, that one comes out. I think it's the further you hold it back. Whoops! Oh my gosh. That has gone all on my wall. And all over the palette. Oh dear me. Quick, quick before it dries. See, it is everywhere. So I'll come back when all this is done. So these are the colours for now that I've chosen to put in the palette. I'll probably come back at a later stage and add some more to this. But I have managed to do all of the spray bottles. So they're all in here. I've just popped them back in here for now, just so I can keep them all together. I will show you on a colouring page. I will chance it on a page that I've finished just to show you. But I want to get these activated and basically dried out. Now I think that if I just wet these enough and give them a little bit of a mix, and I'll use just a cheapy paintbrush, and then I'll just leave them to dry, and I think they'll dry nice and flat in the palette. That's my idea anyway. So we'll start off with this palette, I think. My little pipette. No, it's not a little pipette. I had one left over of this but no tube, so yeah, I don't know what was going on there. So let's just get some water. I might need my spray bottle. That might be quicker actually. Probably will be quicker. Just to spray these down carefully, because I don't want to get Inktense absolutely everywhere. My idea here is just to put enough water. I don't want to activate the whole thing. I just want to put enough water just to make it stick. So then when I'm opening palettes, they're not falling around everywhere. And I think I will come back. I'll come back and show you when they're fully dry. I do think it'll take a good few hours. But with the warmth we're having in the UK, I don't think it'll be too bad. I'll pop these outside to dry. So shall I touch them with the water? Yeah, I think I best add. So if I have my cloth handy here. This is really turned into like a DIY, hasn't it? A DIY how to do your own palette. But if I just mix some of this colour around, wipe it off, just to get it activated, that'll probably work a little bit better. You can see some of these gorgeous colours now. You can tell that my favourites are the blues, turquoises and pinks. So I've chosen nearly every single one of them. Just pull that colour out. Actually, there where I shaved it a little bit has worked a lot better. Maybe I should have done that. So I can do that with the rest of them. Do it, you stay down there. Trying to escape. And we've got some really deep purples at the top here. I mean, it doesn't look really pretty by any stretch of the imagination, but as long as it works, I'll be happy with it. So let's do this palette. There's all of them needs to be activated. So why are you that way around? Why didn't I cut them short enough? Oh! I wanted the white and the black in here as well. Let's go over this again with more water. Right. Another dark purple. More of a mauvey purple. Is this one like a deep berry colour? Yeah. That's my favourite, the fuchsia. I'm hoping that it works, this. I shouldn't see why not. I know it's not watercolour, but I shouldn't see why it wouldn't work. And I'm really interested as well to see what they're going to be like on fabric. I do want to try that. Whether I film it or not, I'll read the comments and see what everyone says, because it might just be one big mess. Maybe just try and do a couple of cool designs on a couple of t-shirts maybe. Shall I make you a t-shirt, Rollo? I'll be able to use an old sock for you. You're that small. So there's a little bit of black mixed in the white here, unfortunately. So hopefully that'll, you know, work itself out eventually. There's a pure black. This one looked like a gold to me. Let's turn it that way. Deep green colour, like a pine colour. An emerald. Lime green. I don't know what you call this one. It's like a mixture between a lime green and a really pigmented yellow. A cherry red. An orange. This is more of a deeper orange, like tangerine. A deep red. But more like a cherry red again, that one. It's a lot different to that. That's orangey red. This one reminds me of like a lipstick red. Like a burgundy colour. I didn't want to add every single colour because I wanted to just add this selection for now and see how I get on, and then leave myself enough space, because I could always mix colours together as well. I don't have to use just these blocks. I could mix them, so that's what I thought. I'll leave some of the pans empty, and then I can have a play about then and see what I think. But I will take these outside and I will pull that colouring page out and have a little bit of a test with the sprays, although I am a little bit nervous, I'm not going to lie. So this is the book that I was working it in, and I finished this page and I continued to prep this page. Now I think I might try and add a tiny little bit of splatter to this. I'm really nervous, because I do love how this turned out. But this is how the splatters have dried, and they're completely matte. Completely matte. So it'll be interesting. Maybe we'll go for the yellow and the orange. Ooh, I'm nervous. Let's try yellow first. I've got a couple of different yellows here. That might be a bit too bright, that one. So let's give these another mix. I'm wondering whether I needed to add a little bit more water. Let's do a tester on this again, just to see how far I need to press it. I'm nervous. So I want to put this over this side just to protect it. This scrap piece of paper that I use for the cutting will just pop here. Let's just do it. It's knowing where the nozzle is. See, it's not coming out very well though. It's because I'm holding it sideways, I think. Let me try again on the tester. Yeah, I think I need to hold the book like this, and that's going to be very difficult to do on camera. If I hold it like this and just hope for the best, what's the worst that could happen? And it's all over my table. All over my table. So before that has a chance to dry, I'll show you the colouring page in a minute. So let's just be a little bit more sensible here, because that is Inktense. Try and keep my table as clean as possible. So the actual page, I don't think that's too bad. I need to have a mess with it and have a learn how to use that spray bottle at its best ability. I've got a funny feeling it might be a bit thick, the consistency of it, so if I add more water that might be a little bit better, but I'm not chancing it with this page. I'm definitely not adding that orange, definitely not. But I think if I do this on a colouring page, I will do this first. Not colour the illustration, and I've already done the watercolour background, so I was a bit nervous about messing that up as well. But it just adds that splatter, and it's probably better to do that first, like I said before, because once that's dried it's not going to move and you can go over with your watercolour. I did prep this page with the Daniel Smith watercolour grind, and I really like it on this paper. It makes it nice and smooth, beautiful to work on. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how them blocks dry, so I will come back and show you the results. So I think we're all dry now. Just goes to show how warm it is today. I think it's dried in about 45 minutes, which that's crazy. But this is the colouring page that I did the splatter effect. I only did a tiny bit because I was really nervous, because I really like this page. So that's that. Now, I'm curious to see how these are going to be reacting. I think I know how they are going to reactivate, should I say, but let's just give it a test. I'm just using, again, scrap pieces of paper. I don't want to use like nice watercolour paper or anything for this, when it's just for testing purposes. So I'll get my paintbrush wet. Let's try this red, and it's re-wetting beautifully. Beautiful, no issues. Look how pigmented that is. Oh, and you saw how much of the block that I actually used, so these are going to last me such a long time. So I'm going to have a play around and mix the colours around on the palette, might add some more colours, and get some colouring pages done with these. I do hope that you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments down below if you're interested in seeing me attempt to do a Inktense block t-shirt or some sort of clothing, maybe a pair of socks. I don't know, but that's my experiment done for today, so I can tidy up. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Take care, bye.